session, we will talk about a very important dimension of the group dynamics, and that is about the ego, defense mechanism, and the group dynamics. Uh, First, we will have the introduction, then ego defense mechanism, group dynamics, different theories for the group dynamics, and group counseling. Now, here, when we define the ego, then what is the ego is? The ego is the moderator between the instinctual drives, that is the id. Basically, what we understand as a layman, the ego, basically that is the instinctual drives, that is the id is there, and superego. So, therefore, sense of time and place, that is also becoming very important, at what time and what place the communication is going on, and then accordingly it will affect and determine the ego. And based on the reality principle, ego is based on the in the characteristics of the ego, we find that it is based on the reality principle, predominantly conscious, some part is unconscious. Normally you will see that is the whenever we are interacting with somebody, immediately we find that is there is the person's ego, either it is getting the boost up or it is getting the hurt. So, therefore, very short period of time. So, people are so sensitive. So, therefore, why they are so sensitive? Because it is always in the conscious mind. However, it is in the some parties it is the unconscious mind also, but the predominantly it is in the conscious mind is there. Here I would also like to connect with the thought process. Basically, that particular thought process, I have talked about the thought and behavior in my previous sessions. So, therefore, in that case, the ego mechanism is the outcome of the thought process. Suppose somebody says that is you are looking good, immediately person will catch that particular positive statement and find having the happiness for the admiration, that is somebody has admired me and therefore it is the so he will feeling happy. If somebody says you are not looking good, and then immediately the person will feel bad about it, and then he will try to find out that is how this person has said this thing, why it is the today nobody has told me that is I am not looking good, why this person has told me that I am not looking good, and blah 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 blah. So, this type of the thought process will come. So, basically what is important is that is it is in the conscious mind, it is so sensitive that is it is becoming the immediately affecting the ego of the person. So, therefore, what is required? Requirement is the approach to the thought process, and our approach to the thought process is positive, approach to the thought process is confident, then definitely in that case our ego will not hurt that easily. And but if somebody says or criticizes, means basically to us, immediately what we do? We say no, you are understood wrong to me, and this is not the fact, this is not right. Later on we may realize that is the whatever the person was saying that was right, but at that moment, that is the, as it has been mentioned here, that is the instinctual drives. So, instinctual drives immediately will say no, that is no, you are criticizing me, that is wrong, I do not accept. So, acceptance level of the criticism is low because the ego is high. Ego is high because the approach to the ego, to the thought process, that is the negative. The moderator between the id and superego. So, therefore, here when we talk about it is the instinct drives and the superego, which seeks compromises to pacify the both. It can be viewed as our sense of time and place. So, at what time and at what place that the communication or that feeling is developed, that is becoming very important. It was determined by experience of reality, therefore guided by the reality principle, and that predominantly conscious, some part is unconscious, defense mechanisms reside in the unconscious domain of ego. And therefore, now want to eat, a very good example is given here, that is, do you want to eat chocolate? That is the eat, and the ego is I am on diet, and then that will be giving the super ego. Ego is it's a small bit of chocolate, and therefore you are having that is, you are satisfying to satisfy your id. So, when we talk about the id is satisfied. So, therefore, in that case, that whatever question is come here, and then while it is a small bit of chocolate, like suppose you go to anybody's house, and then the host he offers you certain sweets or the dishes or food, and then even if you want to escape that food, but still you will take a little one. Why we take that little one? What is that courtesy? Why that courtesy is there? That courtesy is, that is, you are satisfying the need of the another person. So, therefore, it was the offer, an ethical offer. So, please be judicious. So, therefore, in that case, if there is an ethical offer, and that ethical offer, even if you do not want to accept, you show the courtesy and you take the little bit of that particular fruit and all. So, therefore, in that case, that is the ego is there. But if you somebody says, I am on diet, I do not take these things. So, then that will be the reflection of the super ego. So, therefore, so what host will feel? Host will feel that is the even I was offering, the person has not taken. So, he will not appreciate. So, therefore, then in that case, that is the, when you are saying I am on diet, that is you are showing the super ego, right. So, there is a need of the defense mechanism, because we are living in the society, right, and society will dislike the persons those who are having the super ego. So, therefore, in that case, we have to manage between the ego and the superego, and it is called the defense mechanism. So, defense mechanism are defined as unconscious psychological strategies brought into play by various entities to cope with the reality and to maintain the self image. So, as soon as the offer was there, and your unconscious mind, you are immediately responding either yes or no, either ego or superego. But your unconscious mind in that particular time and place, within the fraction of the seconds, decides the reaction, and therefore, that is about the reality and to maintain the self image. Now, you have to cope up with both. You have to one side the protect your image, that is you want to show that you are not a superego person, right. So, therefore, you one side you have to maintain your self image, and then the reality is you are really on diet, and therefore, you want to avoid that food. So, therefore, in that case, that balance unconscious mind, you see how beautifully the human brain that works in the balancing the imbalances, and that is the management's definition basically. So, every time we are doing this management, and therefore, in that case we talk about that is the cope up with the reality and to maintain the self image, and that self image is maintained with the by the unconscious mind, and our response for that stimulus is very balanced one. So, therefore, when we are having the reality and then we maintain that particular self image, then definitely we are successful. Purpose of the ego defense mechanism is to protect the mind, self, ego from anxiety. Now, what to do? Suddenly many times you are confused, that is this is the offer, and then what to do, whether to accept or not to accept, whether I will accept, it will create my positive self image or it will not create. So, it will be in the mind, it will be in the self, and then it will be the ego. So, all three factors, right. Therefore, your mind, so mind will direct towards yourself, right, and self will work on the ego. So, therefore, it becomes very important. That is, whenever we are talking about this particular mechanism, defense mechanism, within the fraction of seconds you have to decide your mind, that is yes or no, but then the yes or no will depend on your self image. But if you will take time, right, then not only you will be confused, but you will confuse to other person also. So therefore, in that case what is important is this, that is the within the fraction of time, in a natural way, the our mind and our self image and ego, they works together and then they bring out, that is the your what is the outcome from that particular anxiety, and they take the decisions. So here now many times it is a thin line difference basically to say yes or to say no, because if we will say yes, we are creating our self image, if we say no, then we are damaging our self image. So it is a question of id and it is a question of superego. So we have to understand when to say yes, when to say no. It means when to create the image and when to satisfy the ego of others. So one by one I will take these points. Reservoir of unorganized instinctual drives. Beautiful point. Unorganized instinctual drives means that is the our instinct, how they are responding, and we are prepared. That is, I am on diet, people will offer me the food and then I have to take a small bite, so that the image is there. But you are not on diet and you are with the you are not hungry and somebody offers you and then you say no, like a mother offers to a child a garam chapati, paratha, and the child says no, I do not want to eat. Mother is shocked. That is the, I have prepared such a beautiful dish for my child after making so much of efforts, getting get up early in the morning, making this particular breakfast, and the person says, husband says, or the child says, no, I do not want to eat this, and they go. Now this will be attack. It will be attacked on the instinctual drives, right? So now because mother was unorganized that time, because she never thought, but with the experiences she knows that I am cooking this particular dish and this dish may be liked or may not be liked, even people may say no, and if they say no, how to get them on the track. Right. So therefore in that case, that is the then it will be organized. So therefore it is very important, that is the you are organized or unorganized. So if you are visionary, the leaders many times they get attacks on their id, but how they respond, some leaders they are not able to respond in a proper way. It means in technically we will say their unorganized instinctual their drives are there, they have not organized their instinctual drives. But a professional and seasoned leader, he knows that is the there will be attack on my id, and then how I have to handle that attack. Another example I would like to give here, I recall about the industrial relations. The negotiation or communication between the employer and employer, employer and union, and there might be the attack from the either side, and how the another side takes it, that is become very important. So if another side is prepared, that is called the preparedness. Are you prepared? Are you prepared to reflect your self image through it? Or sometimes you are prepared to show your image with the superego to persons to whom you do not like, and therefore you know that how to express my superego there. Based on the pleasure principle, I always talk these principles about the win, lose and lose-win. And therefore, when there is an interaction between the two egos, What should be the strategy? Strategy has to be win-win strategies. And if you are having the win-win strategy, then not only you protect your own ego, but you protect the ego of others also. Like the small bite of chocolate, very good example is given here. There is a small bite of chocolate. What is that? Even you are on diet, but you are taking small bite of chocolate. So you are maintaining the ego of self and ego of others. But dear friends, it is not that common. What happens many times, the people directly say, I am on diet, I don't take these fried items. The person has prepared the fried item and you say, no, I don't take this fried item. Right? So then what you are doing? You are protecting your superego, but you are not taken care of the id of the another person. So, in interpersonal dynamics, in the group dynamic, when you are working with the number of people in the society, in the family, at the workplace, it is becoming very, very important that you are having that pleasure principle. And if there is a pleasure principle, and that is based on the reality, time and place, then definitely you are satisfying your id. Here these instinctual drives are depending upon the unconscious primary process, because our brain is very fast. So, even we immediately we say yes, we say no, and then we realize, oh, we should have said yes or we should have said no. But as a spontaneous, we are saying it is yes or it is no, and therefore, in that case, that is becoming the unconscious primary process. How that unconscious primary process it works, right, that we have to understand. Here in the id, there is no logic and no timeline. Different people are having the different id level, and therefore, in that case, you will ask why you behave like this. Why you feel that this is the minimum to accept, but there is no logic, dear friends. And how long it will go, there is no timeline. There is no lifeline of that particular id, that is, it will be for these so many years. So, therefore, the id that is, but yes, id is to be protected. Superego, internalize societal and parental standards. Now, you see that is the traveling in railway and then going by the AC, right. So, the people will express that is, oh, I travel in AC only, oh, I travel by the flight only, right. This is my favorite flight, this is my favorite hotel, restaurant. So, therefore, what is that? That is the, it is the internalized, that is the, okay, if you visit to the 5-star, means you are a big person. So, what is that? That is the culture basically, and that is the how the parental standards have been adopted. And if the parental standards say no, cook at home and have the healthy food, and then in that case that is the superego. You see, that is a person cooks and then serves. It is the homemade, and therefore the people feel pride by saying it is homemade. Right. So, why it is so? Because that proves that that much efforts has been done. So, but it depends on the what type of the society the born and brought up, and therefore, that has been internalized from the environment. Superego is not natural, not natural. It is from the environment. Id is natural, and it is from the self. It comes from the self. So, more emphasis on self and id, while more emphasis on superego is that is the what we have learned from the society, from the parental environment. It is predominantly unconscious, because that mind is set, that is, I do not accept below this. So, the communication, attitude, behavior, and that will be the predominantly. The ego ideal is that is the I will maintain this much standard, and therefore, that will be the ego idle. Now, at what age the person develops? You will be surprised to note that is this ego, super ego is developed at the age of 5 to 6 years. It is very interesting, that is the when child starts the observations, and then from that age only the child learns about the super ego. Now, I would like to take the another dimension after understanding the id and super ego, that is the group dynamics. Group has been defined as an organized system of two or more individuals who are interrelated so that the system performs a function, has a structured set of role relationships among its members, and has a set of norms that regulate the function of the group and that of its members. So, therefore, I will also like to mention the difference between the group and team. So, when I draw this diagram, this is group, and when I draw this diagram, then in that case that is a synergy. So, this synergy means connection. So, amongst the group members there is a interpersonal inter-member relationship is there, but here everybody is performing a function because these are the positions, has a structured set of role relationship, this is reporting to this, this is reporting to this, and has a set of norms that regulate the functions of the group, and there are the norms are there that how they have to perform. But there is no coordination among the group members. So, therefore, when there is no coordination, then that is a group, and there is a coordination, that is a team. So, performance of the group, objectives of goals or expectations from this particular group, structure of the group, positions and roles, and norms are there. So, this will be the conditions. In the 80s, the term group dynamics was commonly applied to practical attempts to reduce intra-group and intergroup tension. And in industrial setting in the 70s, it is referred to the study of individual interaction in the small groups. And small groups many times are having more influence as compared to the majority. That we have to understand. In some places, the large group is okay, but normally in the small group more influence is there. Membership into the groups may be forced, family or not by gangs. Our membership in small groups provides us with our first taste of the social interaction. So, like a family, so therefore, in that case you will find that is the first test of the social interaction is there. The first and most immediate social experience of the mankind is small group experience. So, because that is he starts with the family, and family is a small group. So, this group dynamics starts with the small group. A sufficient given for the group by the Shaw is a group is two or more persons who are interacting with one another in such a manner that each person influences and is influenced by the others, as I mentioned. Therefore, in that case, that is the group dynamics is very, very important. So, each person influence and it is influenced by the other. How it works, that is becoming very, very important. So, studies have produced several theories on why people join the groups. The interpersonal attraction theory talks about that is whenever you are having the group that holds the proximity, contact, interaction, physical attractiveness and similarity are variables that encourage group members like the friends. So, why you make the friends? When there is a group of normally in the schools it starts with the family is the first group, second group is the friends. So, normally we are getting the influence by the friends and that proximity contact. So, to whom you make the friends? Those who are sitting on the same bench of the school or in the same class. So, that is a proximity of contact. So, whenever a small group starts, it first starts with the contacts and that is why it is told, always have the company of the good people, because whatever the company you will have, that will influence the behavior. Now, who will influence to whom? It will depend on the proximity. If higher is the proximity by the one to the another, then definitely that communication is more from one to the another, then that will be influence. So, when you keep the positive thought process person and the negative thought process person, who will influence? Why we say that no, keep away the negative thought person? Because the chances is negative thought person that will influence over the positive thought person process. And then the person will start thinking like that, because the positive thought person process that may not be expressive. So, who will express more? That will influence. Then the contact, you are coming frequently into the contact. As soon as you come into the contact, you form the group. Then there is an interaction among these persons. Then physical attractiveness, therefore in that case in the group members. Now whenever you are into the contact and interaction starts, then there will be the physical attractiveness will be there. So, you the members will like to be close to whose the physical attractiveness they like. And similarity are variables that encourage group membership, and that type of the similarities will be there. Now, psychological similarities and physiological similarities. The group activities theory proposes that a person joins a group because he enjoys the things that the group members do. For example, cricket team, or football team, or kabaddi team. So, therefore, in that case, so where the person will form a group? The game which he likes, which is specialization, the friends will be there for which the specialization the person likes, and therefore, in that case there will be the group activities theory. There will be the group goals theory, which holds that an individual joins a group because apart from enjoying its activities, he also values its goals and purposes, and therefore, that has been focused, the group goal theory has been focused. The membership theory, that process that membership in a group is in itself already satisfying to an individual, some call it the affiliation wants. So, sharing makes it possible. Now the WhatsApp group nowadays, in the social media group, and in the social media group it comes from people to get to know one another in a friendly and open atmosphere. Through group dynamics, people learn about themselves and others. When people see how similar they are in their weaknesses, it becomes easy for them to trust and therefore to communicate. So, therefore, if I am weak in the mathematics, that is my weakness, right. So, I will find a friend who is having the also weak in the mathematics. I will not go to a friend who is having the good skills in the mathematics, because then he will reflect his superego, and I do not appreciate the superego. And therefore, it is better to have the id with the person who is says, okay, I am also weak in the maths, you are also weak in the math. So, it hardly matters, it is good that we become the friends. Group dynamics then is the fastest and least painful way of bringing about real changes in a community. So, therefore, in that case, it is the because the beautiful point is that is the cohesiveness on the basis of weaknesses. So, what one is the receiver, other is the donor. So, therefore, in that case it becomes the fastest, and then the least painful is there, because there is no superego in between. So, there is no superego, it is less painful and bringing about real changes to the community. In the group dynamics, leadership, environment, physical factors, space, room, as I mentioned, the time and place is very, very important, physical factors are very, very important, and emotional factors, like in the case of the family, in the case of the classroom. So, therefore, in that case, what is the environment is there and what type of the teacher is, leadership is there, right, and that will affect the group dynamics. The emotional connect, that is a cohesiveness will be developed, and you see when you are having the good friends around you, right, then you feel very happy, you enjoy the time, and therefore you never think that is the what is we are gaining or what we are losing. There is no consideration for to gain or to lose, but it is the company. So, norms in the groups are two categories, that these are the rules of the games. First is the explicit norms, formal norms that all members are fully aware of and stated at the beginning of the group, and the implicit norms are informal norms, not formally stated but involve standard practices by members of the group which can elicit positive or negative reactions are there. For example, waiting for a friend. How do you find that is waiting for a friend is least painful or more painful? And when you come to know that your friend always comes late, or your friend that is he will keep on waiting you, your friend does not fulfill the promise, right, but he is your friend. So, therefore, there is a informal norms. So, what you will say, like in the spouse also, what the wife says, ye aise hi hai. So, therefore, in that case, that particular weakness, that is the implicit norms are there, and in the implicit norms you are that is the these are the weaknesses. ये काम समय पे नहीं होगा, your subordinate is there and subordinate is not doing his job, not making the report suppose. So, no, he is like elephant, we have to again and again remind, like what Mahabharata does to the elephant. So, therefore, in that case it becomes very important that these are the implicit norms are there, that is कि हाँ ये ऐसे ही चलेगा. On the value of the self esteem, now you see कि ये कब नहीं चलता है. It refers to one's own worth, how you feel and how you evaluate yourself. Your friends keeps on you waiting, right? How long you will keep on waiting? How many times? Right? It will depend on your self esteem. If your self esteem, that is the evaluate yourself, it gives you empowerment to be the accountable and the responsible for your decision and judgment. So, you will say ये नहीं चलेगा, 2 बार चल गया, 5 बार चल गया, अब नहीं चलेगा, और जिस दिन अब नहीं चलेगा उस दिन वो नहीं चलेगा. So, therefore, it is a self respect and self efficacy. The day you realize that how many times I am waiting for this person, but why I am waiting, and the question is, hey, he is not giving you importance, that is why you keep on waiting. Finish. Self esteem is there, and self efficacy is that you can achieve what you set out to do in life, but you say नहीं मैं इसको तो ठीक करके रखूँगा, and therefore in that case you want to achieve, that is your self efficacy, that is the yes, no, I will make him, that is the come on time and I will not wait. Self respect, or you may feel छोड़ो, friendship छोड़ो, he is not respecting me. So, what you think and feel about yourself, कि now it is enough. So, enough means enough. So, then it is there. So, therefore, purpose of the group formation, it is sometimes accidental, task oriented, or size of the group, threat reduction and degree of intimacy, distributive leadership with focus of control on group activity, goal formations, flexibility. I have discussed all these dimensions earlier into the detail, like for example, the flexibility and all. So, now finally, I would like to take the last slide, that is the benefits of the group psychotherapy. What I would like to talk about is, that is the whenever we have to interact with another person, then in that case we have to bring the changes, and these changes will be the multiple perspectives. So, your overall personality, like you find, I was giving the example of the spouse, and therefore in the spouse you will find that when they form a group, or marriage is a formation of a group only, and when they form a group, and that group, then after you see the changes in personality of your siblings or your friends and all, and then why? Because when we are talking about the group dynamics, and when you are managing the ego of each other successfully, then in that case you have to bring the changes. So, that multiple perspectives changes on the issues and how you are seen by others, because please do not forget the influence. Nowadays there is a lot of talk about the influence, there is the influence and the ego mechanism. So, actually in group dynamics what we do, we influence another person, but what image, self image, what self image you are creating. That is very important, dear friends, at the workplace also, in personal life also. The person surrounding to you, because we are working into the group activities only, in a job or family, and therefore what self image we are creating to the others, that is becoming very, very important. And so what is it here? Don't resist the change. Don't say मैं तो ऐसा ही हूँ, right? You say yes, I am ready to convert this group into team, and that is a thought process, dear friends. That is my submission, always humble submission. That is the see your thought process. Your thought process has to be positive. Your thought process has to be logical. Your thought process has to be balanced, and only then you can convert your group into team. Otherwise, it is just formality. It is a formality of forming a group, because there is a marriage, there is a group. But if that synchronization, that synergy will come with the multiple perspective changes. Try to understand those changes, what changes are needed, and then if you want to convert that group into team, accept those changes and implement that. Sometimes we know we have to change, because we are going towards the superego. I am on diet. This is superego. Unconscious mind, fine. But once you learn that you have to change, you have to take a small bite of the chocolate. So therefore, in that case, those issues and how you want to seen by others, self-image. If you want to show that I am the dominating personality, you cannot dominate me, and then everything is gone. Group is spoiled. So therefore, in that case, please learn, that is the accept, because many times when we accept the mistake even we have not done, what for? Convert the group into team. You do not want to break the friendship, and therefore in that case, and you create the forgive. We study so much. We in interpersonal dynamics, we have covered a lot of dimensions, and one was the forgiveness, trust, happiness, optimism, all we have covered. So therefore, but these changes are to be brought. So by doing this particular course, I will feel myself successful if you change wherever if it is required, if you change and you convert the group into team and responsive to the needs of others. And please understand, you are not to take care of your id only, you have to also satisfy the id and ego of others. And then you can ask me, I have discussed that difference between the id and superego, and I said that is, it is a thin line difference is there. So if your mind, it comes, that is the why me, why I should compromise, so then your thought process is that not to compromise. But I keep another situation. The person says, I will always compromise because I want to convert this group into team. And then you see, and believe me, that there will be the change in your group members also. Because with the long term experiences, it will be seen you are sacrificing your admission of the mistake. Even though you are not wrong, a person knows you are not wrong, but that time he is in superego, he wants to prove you are wrong, and you say, okay, I am wrong, I am wrong. But you know you are not wrong, and you also know the person will also realize I am not wrong, I was not wrong. So therefore, that perceptive and responsiveness to the needs of others, and that is to be fulfilled. So that is why in the censure you will find it is written change. More movement in your ideas, change in your ideas. You think that this particular is the correct, but that is not correct. That ideas, change in ideas, change in ideas for self to satisfy the need of others. Ideas to change ideology, changing of ideology will be a challenge. About yourself, how you relate to people. How do you relate? You relate as a superior, you relate with the superego, or you relate with the ego, or you relate with the id. It is your choice. But what is required in the group dynamics, if you understood so far correctly, it is the id, which is the need of others, and change in your behavior. So, when you show the attitude, what you want to prove, actually you are reflecting the superego. And what person will understand? Why the person shows the attitude? He does not bother. And if he does not bother, I also don't bother. Then in that case, but what will happen? That group will not convert into team. Group will continue. He will work in the same organization. You will also working in the same organization. But there will be there will be no synergy, and there will be no emotional connect. There will be disconnect because you have not changed your behavior. So change your ideas and see how beautiful the world is. Behavior, new ways to talk about feelings that we have to learn. Learning is that is the how we have to express our the feelings. Observations, our observations. Sometimes we feel, please understand, unknown is much more than known. What we know, it is very little about this world, this galaxy, about the earth, about the family, about the person, about yourself. So, unknown is much more than known. Please keep in mind, because you can also understand difference between the perception and reality. So, reality might be something more which you do not know. Everybody does not know. It is not that you do not know, I do not know. No, naturally we do not know. We are talking about the space technology, and we are coming to know many things, right? So, therefore, it means that the galaxy is not known. So, what is about the person? And the interpersonal behavior, new interpersonal behaviors. So, therefore, as soon as you are changing the organization from one organization to another organization, it is just like a girl who is from the parents family goes to the in-laws family, and therefore new interpersonal behavior will start. And as soon as the environment is changed, we already discussed, the norms will change, rules and regulations will change, and then you have to change. If you will not change, the group will remain group, not convert into the team. So, finally, what I will say, that is the support. Less isolated as you work on your issues helps you to realize you are not alone in your struggles, and therefore, in that case, work in the group, work with the others, manage the need of the others, enjoy interpersonal relationship. Whether you are traveling a small group you find for the few hours, or you are having the family, or you are having the organization. So, at whatever place you are there, please be less isolated, be more part of the group, help people, have empathy, have motivation, have socialization, and I am sure then you will be able to convert the control disruptive moods, think before acting, find passion for work, pursue goals with the persistence. And if you want to lead somebody, the first critical step is to lead yourself, and therefore you have to change. And this is all about the suggested by the other people also, confirmation, rejection and disconfirmation. And we talk about the group therapy. So, when I say do not live in the isolation, right, always live with the group, never feel alone, because the person those who are single or at far places from the family, they may be alone, but they are not lonely. So, do not feel lonely, maybe they are alone, and but you can contribute more, and that is the how we can, group therapy can help. And when your friends are there, you visit to the different people, you interact with the different people, keeping your consciousness and unconsciousness mind in the control. I am sure that is this group therapy will lead you a beautiful world, a world of the dreams, which you will convert into the reality. Thank you.